Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hello on this foggy day here in Connecticut. My name is Dr. Kathleen Webb, and I am a clinical psychologist in Avon, Connecticut, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. So, for those of you that might be new to Zoom and webinars, I'm just going to give you a quick orientation so that you know what to expect and can appropriately interact with us. Okay. So, given certainly the influx of Zoom, use of Zoom, what we've found is there may be times when my video or more often than not the video or sometimes the audio might get a little jammed up and might be paused, but I think the audio should continue to come through. So don't fret if your screen freezes up or is a little compromised. I'm still here with you and we'll continue to be here. So yeah, so the other thing I want to orient you all to is the chat function. So if you go to the bottom of your screen, there is a little chat function. And so what will pop up on the right side is a chat area. And so you can choose whether you want to, if you'd like to interact, if you want to share something with the entire group, or if you just want to send something to me. And I greatly encourage any feedback and ideas as we're talking through our topic of growing grateful today. Because I think the more we learn from each other, the more we really win. So welcome everyone. And so this is the first of hopefully many more webinars. We've been planning this Growing Grateful webinar for some time. And now more than ever this week and probably the weeks and months ahead, we're going to be relying on different ways that we connect. And so the topic of gratitude is particularly important right now during this time where we're feeling kind of isolated and disconnected to people. Just so everyone knows, these webinars are going to be free, and you can either email me so that you can get notifications about these webinars, and I'm actually going to type in my email address, and go ahead and email me if you want to get on our list to do that. Or you can go on our social media sites. We have Greater Hartford Wellness on Instagram and Facebook, and we have a YouTube channel. And then we also have our website, of course. So those are going to be ways to find out what's going on, and then also take advantage of recordings of our webinars. So, all right, so let's dive in. Gratitude. I'm sure everyone's heard the word gratitude. It's somewhat of a buzzword these days, but I really want us to talk more about what gratitude is and how to practice it, because it's something that I try to practice for myself personally, but also I use with lots of clients too that I work with. So we're going to start with the definition of gratitude in the dictionary. So it's the quality of being thankful, a readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. So, when I looked up the definition, that kind of felt like, well, yeah, that's what gratitude is, right? I mean, that's kind of what I thought it was, how to appreciate and be thankful, right? So what I want us to further dive into in studying gratitude, there's a particular person that I've learned a lot about gratitude with, and I'm going to share, that's what a lot of this is about today. There's a social work researcher named Brene Brown, and so she has a wonderful definition of gratitude that I want to share with you. And this is going to guide what we talk about today. It's a practice of expressing thankfulness and appreciation. Practicing gratitude is bound to the belief of human connectedness, a spiritual way of engaging with the world, and a power greater than us. Without gratitude, there is no joy. So I'm going to read that again because there's a lot there. A practice of expressing thankfulness and appreciation. Practicing gratitude is bound to the belief of human interconnectedness, a spiritual way of engaging with the world and a power greater than us. Without gratitude, there is no joy. So we're gonna kind of unpack that a little bit today in our talk. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the impact of what gratitude does. So as a practice of gratitude, because it's very much it's a verb, it's a thing that we need to do. It's sort of, we're encouraging people to make it a habit in our lives. So it's really impacts our mindset and how we look at things, and also how we really behave. So one of the impacts of practicing gratitude is that it impacts the view of the world and how you see other people. When you practice gratitude, it really has an impact on the relationships that you have, the ones that are close to you, but also how you see other people in the world and what they're doing. One of the other cool things about practicing gratitude is how it challenges fears and other negative emotions. So one of the things that Brene Brown says is that it's connected to joy. And so gratitude is, I really believe, it's sort of a gateway to other positive emotions, particularly joy. And so when we're connecting to gratitude, then we can also counteract some of the negative emotions we have. And like I said, I mean, right now, there's a lot of anxiety and fear about what's going on in our world, and all the adjustments that we have to make. And so this is definitely a really good thing to think about, contributing to making some changes in your life right now. And so very closely related, the last thing about the impact of gratitude is it really impacts our, how we feel, our mood, our ability to connect with feeling more contentment and feeling more positive emotion. And I don't know about you, but I could definitely use a little bit more of that in my life as we're trying to just again adjust and be flexible of how our life is happening with the COVID-19 virus. So okay, so the next thing we're going to do is begin to talk about practicing gratitude. And so this is where I'm hoping that as we sort of chat about different ways that we can practice gratitude, I really welcome other people to contribute and share if there's things that they engage in that promotes gratitude within themselves. And I think we can all learn from each other here. So just like anything you do when you start practicing something, it has to be very much an intentional thing. It's sort of a conscious thing, right? And so hopefully over time, as you begin to practice this conscious thing, that will eventually become more of a habit and kind of more automatic, which will be wonderful. But it takes time and attention. And so we're going to talk about the ways that you can specifically practice gratitude right now. And really these things, fortunately, they tend to be free. And they're things that we can do even if we're feeling cooped up in our house. So let's start talking about that. Brene mentions that gratitude is connected to spirituality. And so, all of us, there's so many different ways that we can practice spirituality in our lives. Some of us use it in practicing our religion. Some of us practice it in connecting with parts of nature. And so one of the ways to practice gratitude is connecting with that spiritual piece. So maybe it's a prayer, maybe it's an activity that connects with nature. That's one way. Other ways too to practicing gratitude is looking at journaling. Journaling is a great way to kind of get down on paper the stuff that's in here, and putting it onto the page, and talking about what you're grateful for. Personal example I'll give is I took, I'm trying to think, I think it was almost a year. I had got into this practice of every morning writing down 3 things I was grateful for. And, you know, sometimes those were easy things to jot down, and then other times it was kind of hard to do. And so I just encourage you to kind of have patience with it, and think about what is a practice, a thing that you could do on a daily basis to connect with that. So journaling, I mean, just writing down 3 things I was grateful for just didn't take much time. But I will tell you that it really started shifting things. It started shifting how I moved through the world and how I was seeing things. And it really did help me connect with um, feeling joy more quickly and capturing being around other people and connecting with that positive emotion. And so that could be something that, again, could be super easy to do, um, and find some quiet time every day to do that. Another idea is meditation. So there's a gajillion meditation apps out there. You could get up to you can engage in one of those. You can actually, there's a great resource I want to share with you. The Copper Beech Institute out of West Hartford is actually doing virtual live meditations. So if you wanted to join in with other people live, you can do that. But then there's also a whole bunch of meditation apps. So again, and meditation's just like journaling, that it's very much a practice. It's that repetition of it all that's most helpful, and then cumulatively will have an impact. So I just saw that someone shared that I challenged myself to write down 5 things I was grateful for 55 days. I think that's a great challenge. And actually, you know, if we're thinking about challenges, maybe you could do that with friends and family too. So thanks for sharing that, Ingrid. Okay, so another thing that we can do, there's lots of things that we can do to practice gratitude. One of the things that I often talk about with clients is really connecting with the people that we are feeling most grateful of and are most appreciative and that are super important to us. And so I don't know about you, but good old snail mail is becoming almost a thing of the past. But I will say that when I get something in the mail that's from someone that I know, it brightens my day. And so writing cards, handwritten cards, it's so personal, and it actually doesn't take much time out of our lives. That's a wonderful way to just let somebody know you care about them and love them and that you're thinking about them. And again, that's something that we can absolutely do from our homes, and could be just one other way of connecting with people if we can't see them in person or spend time with them. Some other things that we can do is just letting people know that you do appreciate them. I think we often take each other for granted, and just letting people know, in how we greet them, and letting people know that you're acknowledging them in some way, that of how you appreciate them is a really important piece as well. Um, so, any other ideas from other people as we're going through these ways to practice gratitude? Um, it can sometimes feel, if we're feeling like we can't leave our house, that it's tough to do. But something else, you know, service is one of the other things too about gratitude, and that could be challenging in certain ways depending on our situation. If we're kind of stuck at home or we really can't, maybe volunteer our time in places. One of the things that we might look at doing is looking around in our immediate area where we live, our neighborhood, our neighbors. Are there ways that we can just lend a helping hand? I think when I think about that, particularly if there's older people that we live near, something as simple as, you know, helping them take their garbage out or picking something up for them, those things really mean so much, and especially during this time. So, okay, so we're going to move on to the benefits of of practicing gratitude. And so, you know, we kind of started discussing some things, which is the fact that it's a practice and it impacts your mood. Um, if you put gratitude into practice on a daily basis, you will begin to experience joy more easily. It's kind of magical, honestly. um, and just like with every practice that you engage in, if you pledge to, eat well, or exercise, or whatever practice it is, it starts to become automatic. It doesn't have to be so conscious. And so the more you practice it, the more likely it's going to become an automatic thing. One of the other things that's super important about practicing gratitude is it helps keep the noise out. It helps uh, you know sort out what's a distraction and what's important. Helps us get away from the blinky shiny thing that we might be looking at or feeling distracted by. And so I don't know about you, but I think I feel really inundated so much around all the stimulus that's going on. And it's really easy to lose track of what's important to us. So this gratitude piece just really keeps you focused on the road that you want to be on and what's important to you. I had someone else share, and actually I just saw this on social media. There's actually a Hartford Prints. It's a local company in Hartford, Connecticut. It's a local print shop, and they're offering to send out cards for you. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Maybe you want to make a purchase. Maybe they can send you some cards via mail. But thank you for sharing that. Certainly we know that supporting local businesses right now is pretty important to small businesses, because everyone's kind of hurting. So, all right, well, we're going to wrap up. And thank you so much for tuning in. This was going to be, again, the first of many. We're going to plan to do a weekly webinar. It's going to be on Fridays at 10 a.m. Next week, we are going to be talking about how to create a new sense of normal with the COVID-19, with all the lifestyle changes that we need to make. It's definitely a primary topic of all the folks that I'm working with right now, something I'm talking about in my own home and with my friends and family. And so this is going to be a great way to kind of help get focused on it if we're straying and we're struggling to figure out how do we live our life and create a sense of normalcy and feel okay inside, and manage any fears or anxieties that might be popping up along the way. So please tune in. Again, you're going to be able to find us find the information on Instagram, on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel, and then our website. We're going to be putting our recordings of these up as well. And we're hoping to post some handouts around content that we're talking about, so you can take advantage of that and maybe share it with other people. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a great day, and hang in there. We're thinking about you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.